What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. 80 Fitness Live every Sunday, 12 Eastern Time. Today we're talking about cut, bulk, or maintain.
Yes.
The question, springtime, summer's coming. Everyone's asking this question. We just posted this question to y'all last week for us, or for me, anyways. But first,
Updates. What updates do we have for them this week, James?
cutting one.
Yeah.
By far.
Was it so it wasn't even close? Everybody wants you to cut?
No. Vast majority wanted me to still cut. One person wanted me to bulk.
Only one person?
And I think we had two who wanted me to maintain. So.
All right. They must want to see you really shreddy then.
Yeah. Vast majority want to see me keep cutting, so we cut another. Hey, Kylie, welcome back. So we cut 200 calories out, and we're going to see how long we can lose at 2,300 calories now.
All right.
How about you?
I was down 2.5 pounds this week, which is quite significant, y'all.
Fantastic.
Yeah, if you guys have been tracking my journey, I think I had a couple weeks there where I was like, hey, I didn't really lose weight, but I felt tighter. Well, finally, the scale kind of matched what we were seeing. So that's always a good thing. So it's going good.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't think so. All of our athletes are just cruising. They're getting ready for the OCB Conquer in 4 weeks. So, yeah, it's like crunch time for them for sure.
Yeah.
But I am pretty excited. I think they've come a long way, and I can't wait to see that progress on the stage for sure. All right. So let's actually talk about cutting or bulking, especially as it comes to the summer. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the 88 Fitness Training YouTube channel. We are all things hypertrophy. You know, between James and I, we bring you over 30 years of experience, which is significant, y'all. That means that you are not having to make any of the same mistakes that we made along the way.
Yeah, and I get the question, I don't know if Camille does, but I get the question, well, how come all the science guys are not big? Most of them preach. They tell you what to do, but they just don't work hard enough, or they don't have enough experience, enough time. You know, they can read and they can Google and they can regurgitate, but it takes time to build muscle, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Also want to give a shout out to everyone that's been tossing us with that super thanks. We really appreciate you guys so much. It definitely helps us keep producing awesome content for you. And don't forget, if you are new, to subscribe and hit that notification bell.
Yes.
But yeah.
And
welcome back.
What's up, Will? So we had a couple people reach out on the website, which is okay, but you can reach us a lot easier on social media, Instagram, Facebook, than you will from our website, y'all. We have email issues with the website. So if you're trying to reach out, you can use the website, but I highly recommend you use social media instead.
Yeah, a lot faster for sure. All right. So yeah, we're going to talk today about, how do you either go into summer trying to do a lean bulk, or how do you start that cut, or how do you decide to maintain? So we're going to go through all of that today. But, we want you to feel confident, as we go into summer with whatever goal that might be.
Big T, welcome back, baby. Yeah.
So yeah, let's definitely make sure we got that pool ready physique, but we don't want to wreck our gains at the same time. So we're going to take you through all of that today for sure. And we want to hear what your goal is right now heading into summer. Is it to cut, bulk, or maintain?
Yes.
So drop us a line in the comment section there so we can talk about it.
And listen, I like spring, but spring doesn't like me. So if you're always struggling with allergies like I am, man, it's tiring. You don't want to do nothing. You don't want to get out of bed. Your eyes hurt. You can't breathe, et cetera, et cetera. Dig in, make it through these next couple of months. You'll be okay.
I mean, summer, snap of the finger, it'll be here. So don't you worry.
Don't skip your workouts because you're dragging because of allergies, It will make you feel better and get in the gym and work out.
For sure. All right. So let's start by talking about a little bit what your options are. So let's start talking about what is a summer shred. Basically, it's a cutting phase where the goal is to reduce your body fat so you have a more leaner, more defined look.
Summer shred, man.
Yeah.
Shredding up.
Typically, a summer shred is going to involve some type of caloric deficit, which just means that you're eating fewer calories now than your body burns. And that's what is allowing you to shred off that body fat. And Terrence says, cutting currently for summer. Don't like feeling like a marshmallow during the summer.
Well said, Big
Yeah.
T. If you're going to marshmallow it up, do it in the wintertime, baby. You can wear coats, pants, sweaters, sweatshirts.
Right, for sure. So when you're doing a summer shred, some other things come along with that. Usually your protein intake's a little higher. Sometimes carbs might be a little less. But overall, it's more about that caloric deficit.
Calories.
Another thing that's characteristic of it is cardio usually comes along with the summer shred. Yeah, definitely cardiovascular exercise of some variety.
Yes, y'all. If you're shredding up for summer and you haven't started doing cardio, I highly recommend you start.
Yeah.
Start slow, 3 times 30 minutes a week.
For sure.
And then add from there.
Yeah, so James said it, like, why shred for summer? You're wearing less clothes, you guys. You're in swimwear, you're at events, you're on vacation. All of these things come along with summer. So it's just instinctual to go ahead and want to cut leading up to summertime.
Summer's time to show it off, baby. Take your shirt off, go to the pool, go to the beach, go to the boat, go to the bike, go wherever it is socially acceptable. Take your shirt off and show off your gains, man. You've been working all year for them.
That's right, for sure. All right, so let's switch gears now and talk about, well, what is a lean bulk, right? So a bulk is a muscle building phase where you're eating, I'll say, a controlled caloric surplus. Yes. Keyword controlled.
Yeah. Lean bulk, not
yeah.
dirty bulk. And
so when we're talking about a lean bulk, a surplus could be anywhere from 100 to 300 extra calories above whatever your maintenance is. It's not like this grotesque amount of food over your maintain. He's smiling there, yeah, anyway. For sure. So the goal with a lean bulk is to be able to build lean muscle mass, but minimize the amount of fat gain that comes along with it. And so if you do a dirty bulk and if you do too many calories, you're definitely going to have added fat that comes along with that.
You're going to get fat.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I think I've talked about this. I've been to the posing seminars, and you got the 300-pound plus guys. There's at least 10 of them there. These are big dudes. They never make it to the stage, y'all.
Yeah, it's just too much.
They don't want to stop eating. They can't push the plate away.
Maybe they need to do strongman instead.
Maybe. But they never, ever, I mean, the 10 guys, I've seen them probably 4 different times at posing seminars, and not one of them ever made it to the stage, y'all.
Yeah, that could be challenging.
Keep that in mind as you're bulking. The bigger you get, the harder it's going to be to cut. So you're 300 pounds, believe me, you're not going to be 260 on stage, man. Not unless you're Ronnie Coleman. And you're not Ronnie Coleman. So there's no reason to bulk up to 300 pounds, y'all. Come on.
Yeah, so I would say for a lean bulk, the emphasis is on, you know, performance during your resistance training, you know, making clean food choices, and tracking.
Tracking, it's calories.
Yeah, whether you're cutting or bulking, you got to track either way. So yeah, those are the characteristics I would say of that one.
I mean, it's a flip-flop. So when you talk about cutting, you cut 300 calories. When you talk about bulking, you add 300 calories, you know, and you just keep tracking and you go from there.
Sure, sure.
We are making the assumption everybody's eating a healthy diet. We're not talking about eating donuts and cutting a donut out a day now.
Right. So the one thing I will say about like a lean bulk for summer, I think, you know, sometimes the visible results are going to be very short term, you know, if you see them at all. But in terms of a long-term strategy for hypertrophy, that's where, you know, it is beneficial to like maintain that bulk throughout the summer and not cut it short just because, you know, you are getting ready for pool season or whatever. So that's, you know, just one thing I'll point out about kind of why you would do the lean bulk maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's been guys, girls. I mean, you went 3 years between shows, you know, and you should have been bulking that complete time.
Right. All right. And then the third option that you guys have would be the maintenance, right? So that's basically eating at your total daily expenditure rate. So, you know, whatever amount of calories your body needs to maintain its current weight, you just continue eating at that. So you shouldn't gain any weight and you shouldn't lose any weight either.
Simple, right?
It's very challenging, actually.
Not that simple, yeah.
Yeah.
We go for the week, so it's weigh in once a week. Your calories stay the same, but things change. Work could be physical one week, it could be easy the following week, et cetera, et cetera. Things just you move physically more week to week than you can't. Things come up, right? I will, I'll be at work and I'll have to walk a couple miles, literally a couple miles. And then the following week, I'm not walking at all.
Yeah.
It's just randomly depends on what's going on in life.
And that all counts, y'all. And most of you guys have like the fitness watches, so you can actually track your trends week to week to see what you're doing, or day to day for that matter. So if you're seeing that, hey, maybe I got less steps in the day before, you can self-correct that throughout the week to hit the weekly average.
Yes. And I did have a very physical week. I was building stuff all week at work. So I was moving, lifting, building, which might help me lose that pound. We'll see this week coming up. It looks like next week's going to be a little bit easier physically, but we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
Things pop up. All right. Todd says, Brother James, the videos you and the wife your posts are legit. You both are the best of the best. My man. What a great comment. Thank you, Todd. And thanks for tuning in, babe.
Yeah, thanks for all the feedback throughout the week and comments. Yeah. We appreciate it.
Angel's back. Angel, welcome back. He said, I add oatmeal and yogurt for my snack before I go to bed. And notice I've lost 3 pounds in the past 2 weeks.
All right. Interesting.
That is fantastic, Angel.
And I love that because you're waking up. Those glycogen stores are full. Like if you're hitting morning workouts, you can hit them. You have the energy to go hard in the gym. So all good stuff. You probably sleep better too, Angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right. And so, yeah, I think, eating at a maintenance or having maintenance as your goal for summer allows a little flexibility and balance into your schedule, making it a great option because there are so many social events in the summertime to go to.
Yes.
And travel. People are traveling. You might be traveling for work, vacations, whatever. So it makes consistency a little hard. So going into the summer with the goal of a maintain is quite all right.
Yeah. And confirm your maintain because, like I said, things change.
For sure.
Week to week, things change. So confirm your maintain before you change things.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about some of the factors that you might want to consider when trying to decide to cut, lean bulk, or maintain. First and foremost, what is your current body fat percentage? And I don't think you need to go out and actually get the calipers or the bod pod scan to figure it out. If you do, that's great. But really it's just looking, hey, are you fairly lean to begin with? So, for men, that might be 12% or under. For women, under 20%.
Tina's back. What's up, Tina?
Hey, Tina.
Welcome back. So let me help you out, y'all. If you can see abs, you're pretty lean.
Yeah, for sure.
If you can't see your abs, no lines whatsoever, you're not lean.
Yeah. So let's say you can see a little bit of abs, but you'd like to see a little more. Well, then cutting can kind of push your physique to that more defined, impressive look. So that might be one consideration to take in there. On the other hand, if you're carrying a little more body fat, you can't see the abs, they're kind of covered, then obviously cutting kind of helps you look better, improves overall health, and all of those good things.
What'd T say? Marshmallow. If you're looking marshmallow, you're not lean, yo.
And I'll also say, if you're looking marshmallowed, I would avoid bulking in this state. And it's you're already bulked. You're already bulked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've even had to remind myself of that at times because you get it in your head. It's bulk cut, that's all there is. But it's okay to be at maintain. It's okay to be at slight deficits and a slight cut. You're still going to be able to build muscle. So it's not an either or. But for sure, if you have extra body fat, you definitely don't want to eat a caloric surplus.
Yeah. Angel said, I'm not lean, but I'm trying.
That's right, Angel.
That's good stuff, brother. That's good stuff. And that's most people, Angel. The working out part, most people get down pretty easily. The diet part, most people can't even get close. You're supposed to diet 12 weeks for a show. Most people can't go 12 hours.
I mean, even the dieting during the week's usually not that challenging. It falls apart usually on the weekend, at least in my experience with working with clients.
Yes, and once again, American culture is food and drink. So, what do you want to do today? Hey, let's go out to lunch.
Exactly.
Hey, what do you want to do today? Let's go watch the game at the bar. Let's go to a birthday party. Let's go to an anniversary. Let's go to a wedding. Let's go to a gender reveal. You name it. There's gonna be food there.
For sure, for sure. So yeah, another consideration outside of just where's your current body fat is like, what is your current muscle base? So if you're cutting, but there's not enough muscle underneath, you're just going to look smaller, not more sculpted. You'll look stringy.
So we come across this every once in a while. We get, every once in a while we'll get somebody that's trained 6 months and they want to compete.
Mm-hmm.
I will go, yes, I'll coach you to your show, but you should probably put 2 more years in before you hit the stage. And guess what? None of them do. And most of them are done after their first show and they don't even work out anymore.
Yeah, the one caveat I'll say is sometimes you don't know what's underneath some of that body fat until you cut. So we've actually worked with clients where they had great shape to their body and we're like, yeah, this is going to come together and look really nice if they want to compete or something.
Yep.
And then they diet down and we're just like, oh my gosh, what happened? Like those weren't muscles.
Their shoulders do this and you're going, oh, your shoulders were fat? Whoa, I thought that was muscle under there.
It was sculpted fat. I don't know.
And that happens with beginners that haven't put enough time in. They might have good shape. They might look big. They might look like they have decent muscle. And then they start dieting down. You're going, whoa, man, your shoulders were fat. They weren't muscle. Wow. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Start doing shoulder press.
So if you suspect that that's the case, then yeah, you might not want to cut down too severe. Or if you're for sure, you're certain that you don't have enough muscle base under there, then, the lean bulk is probably the way to go for summer.
Yeah. So the big difference is you're still making, the muscles on the lean bulk, whereas the summer shred, you're probably not going to put too much muscle on.
Yeah.
You're just going to shred up and maintain what you have.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, if you don't have much muscle, do the lean bulk.
For sure, for sure.
If you got a good, decent amount of muscle, go ahead and shred it up. See what you build over the winter.
Yeah, I think that's fun for sure.
Absolutely.
Another consideration is just lifestyle and schedule. Like we talked about it a little bit, if you're going on vacation, you're going to be going to a lot of social events and all these things, like you got to factor that in on whether you're going to do the bulk or cut. And yeah, sometimes maintenance might be the less stressful option so you can just enjoy your vacation.
Yes. What I do and what I recommend most people do is diet a little bit before your vacation, 2 weeks. Go ahead and diet pretty hard and then eat whatever you want on vacation.
Yeah, but come back and tighten it up.
Correct.
I think a lot of people forget the come back and tighten it up thing, and then they just kind of keep going, and then the physique unravels, unfortunately.
Once you're back from vacation, you're back on it, man. You don't get a free pass anymore to eat whatever you want.
Exactly.
Save that for vacation.
Yeah, and another consideration is like whether you can be consistent with the tracking, the meal prepping, the training, especially if you're cutting, because we said you're adding cardiovascular exercise in there. So that means more time in the gym. So if you can't commit those, then again, that's a factor that you need to consider for the summer. Let's see.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to take up more time to shred than it would to lean bulk throughout the summer. Good
Absolutely.
Point. Good point.
Other factors are kind of age, hormonal factors too, for us older athletes, myself included, there's things like joint health, hormone balance, and all the things to think about. So, if you're trying to do some kind of like deep caloric deficit to like shred in 4 weeks, that's going to wreak havoc. One, on the muscle mass you have, like you're going to end up wasting through some of that muscle. And two, it trashes your metabolism long term.
Yes. And on the other side of that, if you're bulking too much, it does the same thing.
It's unhealthy.
Yep. Dave and Buster, I'll let you handle this one.
Good morning. Appreciate you guys. If you diet without weight training, at the end, you'll just look skinny fat. Always diet and exercise. Yeah. You guys got to realize our muscles are always atrophying. the only way to preserve that is to keep providing them stimulus, to keep them trying to adapt and grow to whatever. So if you pull out all of the resistance training, you just did cardio, you're going to look like a marathon runner, probably.
Didn't you live this? Didn't you do this?
Yeah, I actually did do a little bit of that. I was pretty overweight, and all I did was cardio. I really didn't do weight training, and I looked like a string bean. I have a video, or not a video, photo out there on my Instagram. It shows me at 134 with just cardio and 134 with resistance training in there, and it's significantly different.
Is that the one on the boat?
What's that?
The picture of you on the boat?
No, I think it's just me flexing or something.
There's a picture of Camille on a boat somewhere, and it does not look like Camille. She's very skinny, not much muscle. It's not the Camille I ever met.
Hilarious. I was lean though. I was lean.
Skinny. She was skinny. She's on a boat in a bikini, and she is skinny.
I had no muscles.
But no kind of muscles. Man.
Yeah, for sure.
That was years before I met her.
Yeah, I was probably like in my 20s in that pit.
What's up, brother Todd?
So yeah, be very, very careful on all of those different factors. Those are the things I would consider for sure. Let's talk now about maybe some of the benefits and downsides, like pros and cons of each one. Cutting, pro, you look better. You're more defined. It's more aesthetic appearance.
You're typically healthier when you're cutting down, as long as you don't go, once you hit stage lean, that's unhealthy. But typically beach lean, you're way healthier than you are at a bulk.
Sure. You have increased insulin sensitivity, so your body's able to handle carbohydrates a lot better, which is a good thing. Diabetes is pretty out of control in our country. So if we can avoid those kind of chronic illnesses, that's always preferred and good things.
Everything's easier the lighter you are, y'all. I just talked about in the beginning, just walking a couple miles at work. Well, when I'm 240, walking a couple miles beats me up, and I'm tired from it. When I'm 210, I can walk a couple miles. It's nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't feel it. I'm not feeling it, and I'm going to keep cutting. It's just going to keep getting easier. Yeah,
absolutely. Lower inflammation on your joints. I have some missing cartilage and stuff in my knees, and when I'm starting to push like 170, 180, and I start doing heavy cardio, lifting heavy, like I can feel that on my joints. So typically I won't even try to run unless I'm pretty lean, like in the 130s.
Agreed. Beat you up too much.
So cons with cutting, it's harder to build muscle in a deficit.
You're hungry, y'all. That's a con. You're gonna be hungry. Listen, I was talking to guys at work. I don't mind being hungry. I'm pretty much used to it. It's not a big deal. When it goes from hungry to hurting, that's when I got an issue. Unless I'm competing, there's no reason to hurt.
Right.
Lean out. It's okay to be hungry. Realize it's okay to be hungry.
Yeah.
You're not starving. You're going to get breakfast the next day. Just go to bed, put the plate down, put your silverware down, and go to bed.
For sure.
All right. Todd says Bruce Lee was legit like Mountain Dog. Brother James, can you make another shoulder video? Yes, sir, I can. Thank you for the suggestion. Terrence says Cravens kick my butt when I'm on a cut. Man, Big T, let me tell you, when I'm on a serious cut, I crave hot dogs.
Ew.
I don't even eat hot dogs, y'all. I hate hot dogs. Have you ever seen me eat a hot dog?
No, he does not like hot dogs.
I don't eat hot dogs, and for some reason, when I'm in a serious cut, all I want is a hot dog. And yes, it's gross. And no, I'm not going to eat a hot dog, but for some reason, that's what I'm craving when I'm deep in a cut. I have no idea why.
Yeah.
But you're right, T. I mean, it's tough, dude. When you're hungry, and the cravings kick in, you got to have discipline.
Sure, for sure. I think we talked about it maybe last week when we were talking about supplements that support kind of a summer shred. Anytime I drink like EAAs, it just kills whatever craving I'm having, and I'm good for a couple of hours at least. I'll also try to incorporate a lot more like spinach and lettuce into my meals. You can eat like a whole lot of it, so it kind of fills you up so you're not feeling hungry all day.
I prefer cabbage. I'm not a big lettuce guy. There's very few fruits or vegetables where I'll go, meh, but lettuce is one of them.
I think it upsets your stomach too. Not only
If you can give me a salad with everything in it but the lettuce, I'd be happy as can be.
Well, I kind of made him that this week for lunch, actually, y'all. It's like cucumbers, different kinds of peppers. There's cottage cheese in there. There's chicken in there, and some shredded cheese and a little bit of like fat-free Greek dressing. It's one of his favorites, and there's
my favorite meals.
No lettuce anywhere. So yeah, so I think some of the cons of trying to cut, it's harder to build the muscle, like we said, but it's not impossible. I want to point that out. Like,
it's not impossible.
I think you get mixed things on the internet where you're like, I have to be bulking in order to gain muscle or in a maintenance, and that's not true.
Well, study after study proving that is not true. You can build muscle at a deficit.
Mm-hmm. You just got to bring the intensity, y'all. Intensity is king.
Angel says, Popeye could eat my share of spinach. I'll second that one, baby. I'll second that one.
I think when James and I first met, I pretty much ate like a chicken spinach salad every day for like 2 years. And he was like, how are you still eating that?
Yep. It was probably 2 years straight. That was her dinner. I was like, good on you. Mm.
I'm very good at eating the same thing over and over. I don't really care. Like,
I am too, if I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I eat beets and yogurt every day of my life, and I plan to continue.
So yeah, we talked about increased hunger, but there's also lowered energy and possible irritability that comes along with trying to do a cut. You're hangry.
You're hangry. You don't want to be around the donuts. You don't want to smell the pizza. You don't want to smell the French fries.
Right. It is hard. You're like smelling that pizza, eating your spinach salad. Like, it's not the same.
It can affect your social life if you are a social person. Camille and I are pretty introverted. We don't go out too much, and when we do, it's usually just the two of us going on a date. So, but if you are on a diet, you go to a party or whatever, realize you're going to be surrounded by food you can't eat. Mm-hmm. And if it makes you cranky, just stay home, man.
All right, for sure.
All right, Todd said, Brother James, can you both make a sports special training style for boxer? Once again, you want me to throw hands, baby? Come on. Did anybody see Patty Pimblett beat, I forget his name, last night at the UFC? My man. We're going to do a box. We are actually looking at purchasing and boxing.
Like a heavy bag.
Heavy bag.
Yeah.
Jeez, I can speak. Slam man, maybe, or a heavy bag. So if we do, Todd, I will make that video for you, brother. Right now, we don't have any kind of boxing gear or equipment or a bag even. So if we do end up making that purchase, that'll be the first video we make, my man.
Yeah, our other trainer, Patricia Coates, my sister-in-law, her clients keep asking for that heavy bag, Todd. They want to like come in after work and just like lay it on the bag or something, and then go about their workout. I don't know.
It is fun cardio.
For sure.
To me, it beats the treadmill. It beats them all. If you can put your headphones in there and get angry and just whop, whop, whop on that bag and get your anger out and get your cardio on. All right, Big T says workouts suffer a little bit when a cut on energy sucks.
Yeah.
It can. It definitely can. You need to be smart when you're in that deep of a cut. You need to be smart with your calories and your food. I forget. I think it was Aileen said carbs before and after workout. That's the only time he eats carbs.
It's brilliant.
Brilliant. That's going to fuel your workout. It's going to feed you after your workout, and it gives you all you need. I mean, that's brilliant.
And a little bit of that baking soda. I wish Aileen was on. We've been doing the baking soda thing ever since.
TB92 said, tried your triple set shoulder exercise today. Thought it was going to be easy. I was humbled. My man, that's a nasty one, brother. That triple set will burn your shoulders in, baby. Let me tell you. Ooh, it's a good one. Thanks for that feedback, GB92. Appreciate it.
For sure. And then the last con I would say for the cutting is if you get too aggressive, you have a very good chance of actually losing muscle mass along with that body fat. So you do have to be careful and do it strategically. So yeah, let's talk about lean bulking now and pros and cons for that. So obviously it's ideal for gaining strength and size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We already said the difference. I said it a little bit earlier. If you want to keep building muscle through the summer, do the lean bulk. If you want to shred and see what you built, do the shred.
Right. And then obviously, it keeps your metabolism going strong because you are feeding yourself. You're not putting yourself in that kind of deficit phase. So it's a good thing.
Todd says, think you both are smarter than anyone else. My man. Camille, maybe. I don't know about me, brother. 240 and the dopest person in the building. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate that, baby.
That's right.
Tina says, do you look at your salt at all during a cut? Excuse me. I do not, Tina.
I do, Tina. I look at the sodium, whether I'm bulking or cutting. And for our athletes, I absolutely have them track it.
So let me back up. So if there's an unexplained weight gain on the scale, I'll go back to the day before and look at the sodium.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time I'm looking at salt or sodium during my bulk or cut, is if there's an unexplained 2 or 3 pounds on that scale and I'm going, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Then I'll look, and 99.9% of the time it's sodium and I'm holding water.
Yeah. I think it's interesting though, Tina, when you start actually looking at sodium, like in MyFitnessPal, like what I find is that because we're kind of conditioned in our culture that too much sodium's bad, like a lot of things don't have sodium. And unless you're adding it to your food, you're just not getting a lot of sodium. So I'll, be in there, I'll see, hey, I only actually had like 1,100 milligrams of sodium for the day, which for an athletically trained person, that's actually low. Because if I go and I do an hour of resistance training, an hour of cardio, I'm leaching all that salt out of my body. And so it is important to maintain that electrolyte balance. So I actually have to add salt to some of my foods throughout the week.
What's the recommended daily allowance?
I'll have to look that up again. But
okay. It's more than 1,100?
Yeah.
1,100, what you read?
Yeah, milligrams. Here, I'll tell you.
1,100.
So yeah, I think it does like play a difference.
Is that before or after the baking soda?
That's before baking soda. Baking soda itself has like 1,200 milligrams of sodium in it. So that just adding that in there could really help for sure. But yeah, with the sodium, they recommend about 2,300 milligrams a day.
Okay.
And so
you were doing about half.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And working out and all that on top of it. So.
All right. Dave Buzz says psychologically helps to promise yourself good, healthy rewards after training to keep you motivated.
Yeah.
What do you mean a good, healthy reward there, Dave and Buster? But yes, that is a great way to stay motivated. I have a client who doesn't do a healthy snack, a healthy reward. He'll like go buy himself a pair of jeans. You know what I mean?
Fun.
Like he'll hit a goal weight he's been working towards for months or weeks, and he hits it and he goes, oh, I'm going to reward myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a camera. I'm going to get a pair of jeans. I'm going to get a new pair of glasses. That's what he does. Carbs.
Yeah. So we're talking about Aileen with the carbs before and after training. So that could be like a nice little treat for yourself after.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a earn your carbs. There you go, Dave and Bus. I like that. Small piece of chocolate. Hey. That is, so post-workout is the time when you eat your simple carbs. And if you want a piece of chocolate, that's the time to do it. Good point, Dave and Buster. Good point. And, while you're working out, you can remind yourself, I'm earning this chocolate.
Exactly.
I'm earning this treat right now.
Yeah.
Great point.
All right. Some cons of the lean bulk. If you're not careful, some body fat's going to come along with it. So don't be afraid to pump your brakes if you feel like you're gaining too much fat. It can be hard to figure out what's going on. Like you have to take photos week to week. You have to, hop on the scale so you can track that too, track measurements. But the most important things can be the visual week to week change.
Listen, y'all, don't tell me you don't look in the mirror. Don't even tell me that. I know you're looking in the mirror at least one time a day at your physique. So you know what it looks like. You know if you're gaining. You know if you're losing. You know if you're maintaining because you look at yourself every day. I know you do. I do too. It's nothing wrong with it. You're just checking your physique out, seeing where you're at.
For sure.
Keep doing that and stay on track.
Yeah. All right. Maintenance, pros and cons of doing a maintenance for the summer.
Kind of boring.
Yeah, it is kind of boring. But it's a great option if you have a lot of summer trips worked in there. You're planning on doing family time where you're not going to be able to get into the gym as consistent.
Yeah, I mean, most people travel during the summer because they have kids and there's no school during the summer. Our kid is grown, so we do most of our travel in the winter.
I think you can still, a great pro is that you can still improve your body composition. You're just going to recomp, right? So it's maybe a little slower, but if your intensity of training's there, you're still going to be putting, muscle on there. So you can do body recomposition still and not maintain.
That is our little Chihuahua. If y'all can hear them, he's sick, so he's barking his face off right now. He's not feeling very well. So if you can hear him, we apologize. He's in the crate. He's in the other room. We got the door shut, but he's barking. He doesn't feel good today.
So another con is that, it's very easy to get complacent. So if you are going to do maintenance for the summer, I encourage you to still track your macros and spot check them.
You have to.
Because it's easy to creep over time, and then that scale is going to creep up and so will the body fat. So you do have to be careful and still track a little bit.
100%. You should be tracking anyway.
So yeah, what should you guys do? If you want to look aesthetic for the summer, then obviously, the cut is probably for you. Now is the time that you would want to cut. You probably need 12, 16 weeks, depending on your level of current leanness. Like, give yourself time so you can do it slow.
Yes. Summer is coming, y'all.
Yeah, for sure. You want to make sure that you're kind of ending your cut by midsummer and then go into that maintenance phase. That way you can still look pretty shreddy for the rest of summer. You don't want to be like starving all summer long. Otherwise, you can't go out and do all those fun vacations and beach things.
So you're right. Once you hit that shred, whatever number that is, whatever look that is, then you go to the maintain.
Exactly.
You don't need to keep losing once you hit the look you want. That summer shred. Once you're shredded, you're shredded. Don't keep shredding, y'all. Go to maintain and keep yourself shredded.
Yeah. So on the other hand, if your goal is to build like long-term muscle mass, then the lean bulk is definitely for you guys. So you want to use the summer to do a very slow, methodical bulk. So this might even be a little slower than you would if you were like, hey, I'm in the fall going into winter. So really take your time with working those calories up to get to the surplus. Like, you wouldn't go in there and just add 500 calories because it is going to be summer. We don't want to accidentally gain body fat.
Yeah, do it slow. You should do it slow all the time anyways. It's hard on your body when you do that, big jumps. Angel said your dog is probably trying to tell you it's time to hit the weights. Yeah. So the big dogs we let in the gym all the time, pretty frequently. The little guy,
he's a walking hazard, y'all. Yeah. One little dumbbell falls and it could be bad.
He's 6 pounds, so if you drop a 10-pound dumbbell on him, he actually could die.
So another thing, if you want flexibility for the summer, then maintenance is the way to go. As long as you're happy with, how the aesthetics look, go right into the maintain and, take some of that stress and weight off your shoulders. It gives you a little more flexibility. So what are you guys going to do? I want to hear from all of you guys listening today. Drop a line. Are you going to cut, maintain, or bulk?
Yes.
Obviously, we're cutting.
If you didn't pick up on this, these are phases. They're not forever. You're going to change them. You're going to switch from one to the other at the appropriate time. Absolutely. We just said summer shred until you hit your shred. Until you hit your number, hit your look, then maintain until it's getting a little bit cold out and you're going to put a shirt back on, and then you start bulking, y'all. Yeah,
for sure. Some tips for you guys if you're, going into a cut from a maintenance. Well, one, you need to know where you are. So assuming you're at a maintenance and you're going to cut, so go ahead and, walk the calories back anywhere from 1 to 300. I would start on, if you've got the time, I would start on the less aggressive side and see what happens.
Agreed. If you only need to cut 100 calories, don't cut 200.
Exactly.
And the only way you're going to find out is by cutting 100 calories.
Yeah, I actually had this conversation with someone at work. Like, they, flipped that switch, which congratulations to you for flipping that switch. I love that. That is excellent. And then they said, at first I just cut out sodas and whatever, but then I did like a massive deficit. I think they cut out like close to 1,000 calories. Like, they were grossly overeating. But I was just shocked. I said, well, that might not have actually been necessary to cut back that much. And yes, we're seeing really great progress now, but at what cost? That does wreak havoc on your metabolism. It will get, waste some of that muscle mass away. And I said, so if we're looking for long-term weight loss strategy, like going that aggressive may not have been the best approach. So something to consider.
Yes, and realize, I forget what I was going to say now. Oh, it's gone. Tina says, I think I'm at a maintain, trying to keep my waist at the same size. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Keep the waist same size while you're building muscle. That's fantastic.
I want to see you compete again, though, Tina.
Angel says, maintain. I only weigh 143 pounds. That's pretty lightweight there, Angel. I thought you said you weren't lean. Something's not adding up, brother. Did you mean to write 243?
All right. I don't know.
143 pounds to me is a pretty lean for a adult male. So
Dave is
Buster's cutting.
Nice.
All right, my man.
All right. It's
Me
starting
too,
to
brother.
add
Us
up
too, yeah.
when everyone wants you to cut here.
Tina's maintained, Angel's maintained, Dave's gonna bust. Dave's gonna bust.
Dave
Buster's gonna cut. Sorry, Dave Buster.
Yeah, so if we're going from a cut to a maintenance, you want to make sure you're monitoring how many calories you're burning, like, what do you weigh week to week. And we didn't talk about that. Like if there is people that had been cutting over the winter and now they're going into maintenance early. Yeah, you definitely want to make sure that you are tracking very, very closely as you make that transition. And give it time, a little bit of time. Like the body doesn't adapt quite that fast. So you might want to go a couple weeks, like the other week, James is like, well, I'm not sure if I can still eat the 25. And I said, give it another week and see what happens.
And there's no rush unless you got a competition date. Take your time with it. It's best to take your time with it anyway, because it's real, you know what I mean? You cut too much too fast. Can you maintain that? Number one.
Probably not.
That's where I was going to say with your example. You're cutting way too much too fast. Sodas, calories, Twinkies, candy, pizza, weekend booze. You cut it all at once and you're going, whoa, dude, how long are you going to maintain that?
Right.
That's not a realistic. To me, most people can't realistically cut that much for the rest of their life.
And yeah, I mean, the conversation was like, okay, I see you're doing that and I'm glad you're losing weight, but there's going to come a point where you're going to have to refeed and add the food back in.
Correct.
And it's or
the weekend you go, all right, I'm done with this. I'm going to start drinking and eating my pizza again. You're going to gain it all back.
Right.
So you got to be regimented and you got to have something realistic that you can do and maintain. A lifestyle, if you will. All right. Todd said, Brother James, wifey biceps on point. Bang! Right. I learned so much from your bicep training videos. Fantastic. That was
awesome. Yeah, thank you. Let's see, if you're going from a maintenance to the lean bulk for the summer, add those couple hundred calories in. You're mostly going to want that probably from carbohydrates. So I would say pre and post like Eileen does. Again, track your progressive overloads in the gym, track your measurements, track your weekly weight gain, and take photos and videos, y'all. It'll keep you honest.
Videos are going to tell a much truer story than photos. So if you're looking for the truth, take a video of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Posing, just stand, whatever you're doing, take a video.
Yeah, and then just general tips in general. No dirty bulking. There's just no place for that. It's not healthy. It leads to excessive fat gain.
All that's been debunked. I mean, that's been debunked since the 90s. The dirty bulk, no, not necessary. And I'm going to say it again. All the 300-pound local guys never make it to the stage.
For sure. You want to think long-term, we're just sculpting the body over the seasons, y'all. Not just weeks, seasons, months.
Yeah. Dave and Buster says moderation, portion control. Use a small plate so it looks like more food. Hey. Dave and Buster, I hired a guy at Gold's Gym to work the front desk. He was 93 years old. He was the opener, so I never had to wake him up. He was always there before 5 a.m. opening the gym. Anyway, this dude said, listen, I got a plate diet. Take your dinner plate, throw it in the trash. Get your little saucer plate, fill it up one time. That's your meal. That's it. You're done.
That was like a diet strategy for a while. There was like different containers sizes that you could buy, and as long as it fit in the container, you could have it.
Yeah, portion control is real. It's very real, y'all. And that's one way to do it. Throw out your big plate, use a little one, just like you're saying, and just like the old man from Gold's Gym. I wish I could remember his name. Back in the day, I ate Subway all the time. So I would cut from a foot long to a 6-inch when it was time to cut. And it worked.
I worked at Subway in high school, by the way, for a long time.
Sandwich tech, baby.
Sandwich artist. All right. Sandwich artist. Another thing that I like to do if I go to a restaurant is to ask for the to-go box one time and then cut the meal in half and load it up. That way you're not picking at it while you're sitting there. But yeah.
Tina says small plates. Love that. It's a great tip. Also use a small fork.
Mm-hmm.
What's his
Eat
name?
Slower.
Flex Lewis used to use his kids' silverware because you have to take more bites. It feels like you're eating more. Just a psychological trick to make it feel like you're eating more because you got a little baby fork.
All right. All great tips, you guys. So, I hope you've taken away that there is no one size fits all answer. Whether you cut, bulk, or maintain really just depends on where your current physique is.
There is a place for all three.
Yeah.
Just time it correctly and do it correctly. And this is a bodybuilding cycle. You're going to do this over and over and over and over and indefinitely until you retire or quit bodybuilding, which I don't think any of us are going to do.
Sure.
This will be your 3-phase diet for the rest of your life. I'm just kidding, y'all. But it is truth. I mean, if you're going to stick with this sport, that's just the truth. That's going to be your lifestyle.
Yeah, another thing we didn't get a whole lot into is mindset can help, pick the goal too. Like if mentally you just don't have it in you for whatever reason, maybe life things are going on around you, then going into maintenance makes sense. Like versus trying to stress and do the cut or even focus on the bulk. So sometimes, those lifestyles or mindset help dictate what the goal is too.
It's a very good point. Cutting's hard. It is, and the more you cut, the harder it gets, and you're not going to be able to do that forever. It will take its toll, and after a while, you're going to weaken and you're going to cheat. So keep that in mind and remember that, and say, hey, if I'm not at my shred yet, maybe I should maintain. Just take a breather and then go back to shredding.
Yeah. So, you don't have to follow what social media is doing. Like most people are doing their 12-week summer shred right now. But, if that goes against your long-term goal, then, you don't have to follow that. Absolutely. Do your own thing, pave your own way. Like James said, I've been either in a bulk or a maintain for almost 4 years. It's the first time I've cut in a very long time. I'm ready. I'm ready to be hungry. So yeah. Anything else you want to add in there?
No, I think that's it. You brought up a good point. You when you're cutting and you're doing it severe, you're not going to be able to do it forever. You're going to need a break. You're going to need a time frame. So I would actually schedule these. I would schedule these phases. Everybody's coming in the summer, so you should be coming off a bulk, going into a summer shred until you hit your maintain. Your shred look, and then maintain that shred look till September, October, and then go right back to the bulk.
Yeah, Terrence.
I made it sound pretty easy, but it's not that quite simple. Go ahead.
Terrence says, also when it comes to cutting, you have to watch what type of condiments you use in your food. Yes, you do. You need to count those too in your macros.
We've gone over this in a couple videos. I'd rather have 0 sugar ketchup. I'd rather have hot sauce with no calories, mustard with no calories, and eat food. I don't want calories in my condiments if I can help it.
Yeah, ketchup will have 4 grams of sugar for a tablespoon or so. Barbecue sauce is notorious for having lots of sugar.
Yeah.
So get yourself some sugar-free sauces or go without the condiments. You always can do hot sauce, mustards, those types of things. 0 carbs.
Tina says, I'm moving by the fall, early winter. So much to do. Moving to Wisconsin from New Jersey.
Oh, you were close, Tina. You're close to us.
I'm tempted to compete, but I know it's not
That is not a good time at all. Like, not at all.
It's good that you know that, Tina. I would, moving's a lot, and you're moving across country. You're not moving down the street or a county over. So you might want to shelf the competing plans just for this year, or push them back to, after you get settled in. But that's going to be a tough one. Good luck.
For sure.
Best of luck to you. I've never been to Wisconsin. Let me know how it is. I've been to New Jersey 7 million times, but never Wisconsin. I mean, we're right next to New Jersey, yo. I can get to New Jersey in about a half hour. We drive up right through Delaware, right Delaware Memorial Bridge, boom, you're in Jersey. So if we could have, I've been to Atlantic City, I've been to Jersey Shore an awful lot. All right, Dave and Buster said your back series is great. Looking forward to lower back spinous erectors, my man. Outstanding. Thank you for the feedback, Dave and Buster.
Awesome sauce. And hey, Tina, I actually am getting ready to film a female bodybuilding series, several series related to female bodybuilding. So maybe we can even do a collab there in the future.
Hey.
So
stay tuned.
Yeah.
And realize we're a couple weeks ahead. So when she says she's filming now, it's not going to air until probably May.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
Mid-May, maybe. So.
All right. So yeah, I appreciate you guys sharing with us what your goals are. Like, hopefully we can all keep each other motivated. That's what Team 88 is all about. So whether it's dropping us a line here or engaging with us on the other social media platforms, definitely reach out. We can help each other stay accountable, y'all.
Yes, it's all about community. It's all about help. This channel's for you, and we're here to help. This is our passion, and we want to pass it on.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, definitely tune in next Sunday, every Sunday, 12 Eastern. You can catch me and James live. So yeah, stay strong, stay shredded, y'all. Stay swole. And remember, the choice is always yours.
Hey.
Bye, guys. See ya.